this is Q-Chick, and welcome back to the finale of Fontaine's Archon Quest. We've been through a lot throughout the past few episodes, but now we have Furina on trial for her to answer the questions about what she's gonna do about the whole prophecy thing. There's a few people that died, and she's gonna have to answer. The only thing we can do now is judge the Hydro Archon. This is gonna be absolutely monumental. Like, you're gonna have to go visit the last episode. Oh, what if Furina wanted to say right before we arrived on stage? Oh, shoot.
Madam Prosecutor, please allow me to pass this along.
Hello, Espen.
This is a document that Miss Charlotte applied for and received permission to share with you during the trial. According to her, it should speed up the proceedings.
Okay, yay!
Charlotte wanted to give us something?
Yay, Charlotte!
What Paimon?
Exclusive interview. She finished it.
Then that means this document is a
Awesome.
We can refer to this
It's a practical
anthology
gift.
of-
Nice.
Let's quickly confirm the information in it. Just think of it as
Okay.
a refresher, alright?
I guess that could be useful for
You
people
defeated
just.
the
Oh
Hydro
my
Archon
gosh!
in the very first duels you took part in at the Opera House. That's one for the history books, all right.
Oh, and you're gonna have to
I
look
didn't
through
think
all
that
the
you'd wind
voices
up
here.
getting to the bottom of the case I'd been following all this time. I guess you could also see this as a happy coincidence. This is the first time Monsieur Nervillette had a difference of opinion with the oratories. Even the Hydro Archon can't figure it out. A Fatui Harbinger. She's
Okay.
an extraordinary person. Her instinct must mean something.
Wait a minute. Oh, I should read these. Okay, we kind of already know these things, but she already probed Furina, so Furina might not be the Archon. She's actually afflicted with some sort of curse.
The fortress of Meripede was almost destroyed in a single day. That I didn't witness that scene personally will always be a source of professional regret, I think.
Don't worry, I have it saved in this Let's
According
Play.
to Monsieur Nervillette, both Childe and that whale should have been in the primordial sea
Okay.
at that time. I nearly lost my awesome friend Navia. To be honest, that still gives me shivers.
Only the protection of the dead members of Fina de Rizula prevented her from dissolving.
The
Nice.
words of someone as extraordinary as a witch can probably only be truly understood when something surreal happens to you.
Alright, so now we can use these clues in this trial.
The prosecution and the defense are both in position. The trial shall now begin.
Oh, come on, Nervillette. There's no need to repeat all the unimportant legalese. Just fast forward to the part where the prosecution lays out my offenses. As the defendant and the lead actress of this performance,
I was
still
wondering
haven't
where her
even been
vision
informed
is.
of my supposed
Oh, I should
guilt
pay
in
more
all of this.
attention.
Of course.
Isn't the
It
vision
is
supposed to be
only
there or
natural
something?
for humans to struggle to understand the actions of a god. However, you will need more than that to convict me of a crime.
That's true, but my charge here is unrelated to your conduct as an Archon. Instead, I would like to charge you as a fraud who's never been the Archon in the first place.
Yep, that's
Wait,
that's why I wanted to
what was
look
that?
at
Lady
Arlecchino's thing.
Furina's a fraud?
Hey, I came here
Because you
thinking
don't
that
have
we
to
were
know
going to
this,
try
right?
the Hydro Archon for forsaking her duty, but did I hear that right? She's not our Archon at all?
Charge accepted.
Okay, now we need to prove it.
Lady Furina, do you plead guilty to the charge? Lady
Nice
Furina,
music playing in the
I
background.
plead not guilty. How can I be guilty? There is no way that I, Focalor, otherwise known as Furina de Fontaine, a member of the Seven and the Regina of all waters, kindreds, peoples, and laws of Fontaine, could be anything other than your true Archon.
Yeah. Even though Lady Furina can be rather eccentric, isn't it going too far to doubt her very identity?
Is it gonna be hit
Yeah,
even harder
I've
once we
never
prove
questioned her
that she is a
identity either.
fake?
Sure, Lady Furina can be super irresponsible, but what grounds does that prosecutor have to make such a huge claim?
I have cause to believe that common sense will prevail in this case. Many of the members of the audience have known me as the Hydro Archon ever since they were born. There would be no fooling their memory. See? Even to show me its favor. Are you sure you want to commit to a charge that will never be upheld? If you wish to drop the case, I can promise you as the god of justice that you will not have to face trial for making a false accusation. We will treat everything that's happened as a dramatic spectacle and move on with our lives. What do you say to that?
She's bluffing.
An argument with near impossible odds, huh? We have to
Yeah,
not only
overturn their
refute
long-held
Furina's claims,
beliefs.
but also overturn the long-held beliefs of the people.
Now we need to reveal the truth.
Well, I tried to give you the chance to surrender. If you must persist, then let me ask. If you believe I'm not the Archon, then what manner of being do you think I am? And if I was not the Archon, then how did I manage to live for over 500 years?
Let's think carefully. What is special about her? Okay, let's review all of these. Okay, so we have the irrelevant thingies. She must be cursed, right? Connecting your consciousness. I don't think that's exactly relevant. I think this is the most irrelevant one.
First of all, you
a
may
member
be
of a long-lived
another
race.
long-lived race, which would allow you to naturally
She's
possess
cursed.
an extended lifespan. And second of all, even if that wasn't
I'm
the
sorry,
case,
you're gonna have to
there
deal with
could
Paimon.
be other ways to extend your life.
Who gave you that idea? Was it the knave? You'd sink so
The veracity
low
of the
as
claim
to
is
use
what's
a
important.
harbinger's words against me.
A curse? I once thought it possible that the aura of an Archon might naturally resemble a type of curse. But in light of this claim, perhaps what I sensed was not your divinity, but a curse after all.
Neverlet sensed it too, huh?
Could you be a cursed human?
Lady Furina is actually a human?
Whatever happened to
Well,
Focalor?
It is true that it's extremely difficult to tell humans and gods apart just by looking at them. It's not impossible.
Well, don't start celebrating too early now. Even if I have been carrying a curse like you said, how does that prove that I am merely a human being? Besides, everyone knows that the main difference between a human and a god is the
Gnosis, or
possession of
something.
authority. Gods can do what humans cannot. That's why they're worshipped as gods.
Then what
For
can't you
centuries,
do?
manifestations of my authority have served the nation of Fontaine. One need only to turn their eyes towards the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse
But
Cardinale
you
in
didn't
this
know
very
why
opera
the
house,
Oratrice
or
declared
consider
Childe
the
guilty.
endemonium that is used in every aspect
Do you
of
what?
life.
How do you not know how the Oratrice works? Boom!
You tried to reference the Oratrice. But weren't you as confused as all the rest of us when the Oratrice declared Childe to be guilty without any proof? Otherwise, you should have come up with a good explanation for that by now.
Didn't I make myself clear at the time? The decisions of the gods are naturally difficult for humans to comprehend.
Why didn't you
There
at least
is
try?
no need to provide an explanation.
Lady Furina, I believe a reminder of your current circumstances is in order. While the court is in session, the principles of justice and the law must come before all else. While you are an Archon, you are also first and foremost the defendant in this trial. You will prove yourself unable to defend against the prosecution's charges if you continue to withhold vital information against the rules of the court.
I never thought you'd use that kind of rhetoric against me.
That was no trick of rhetoric, Lady Furina. I've merely reiterated the rules of the court. Rules that all should respect and follow.
So, you neither knew why Childe, instead of having
So-
been created by you, the manifestations of authority you mentioned have been made by the real Hydro Archon, haven't they?
The real Hydro Archon. Well, now you're really losing me. It is true that I did not know why the Oratrice gave out a guilty verdict that day. But the Oratrice handed out that verdict unilaterally, and it has been operating independently ever since it was first created. You can't argue that just because a divine creation is flawed, that the god behind it must also be no god at all.
She's still throwing out all kinds of excuses.
What
Seems
is
like she's
your
confident
power?
that we won't be able to
Demonstrate
produce
us.
proof
What
that
can
she
you
has no
do
power
as an
over the
Archon?
Oratrice.
Can you even do it?
My power as an Archon. There are many ordinary citizens in the audience. How can I just carelessly demonstrate the formidable power of an Archon?
If that poses a concern, I'm prepared to extend my protection to the audience.
You don't need to go that far.
The capabilities of a human with a vision.
uh,
Where is your vision?
Aren't you the Hydro Archon? Or is it that you can't even wield the power of Hydro, much less the authority of a god?
Indemnitium! Yes! It's all because of Indemnitium! All Archons derive their power from the faith of the people, and I've converted the people's faith in justice into Indemnitium! Thus did I give up all of my divine power to provide everyone with energy for their daily lives. Have you ever seen a more magnanimous god?
Isn't that a huge stretch?
They're losing their faith
no matter
in
how
you.
generous an Archon can be, how could they give up all their power? Can a god with no power even still be called a god?
I wonder what's gonna happen
Seems
to
like
the
nobody's
energy in this
buying
place. They're
Furina's
losing
excuse.
faith.
Hey, come now, everyone. Please don't stare at me as if I was a liar. I'm still
What's
the
really
same
the
Furina
nature
you
of your
knew, right?
curse?
The one that you loved.
Why were you even cursed to begin with?
Shouldn't you want to believe in me? Please? You've got to believe me.
If what the prosecutor said is true, she really has committed a grave offense.
Did she deceive all of us? And all of our parents and grandparents too? And then all of our ancestors? Ever since they were born?
Enough. That's enough. Tell me then, if I'm not the real Hydro Archon, then who is? If you have no evidence of another Hydro Archon's existence, nor can you find anyone who can back up their claim to be such, then what grounds
What would
have you to
Nervalite
say
know?
that I'm not actually the real deal?
Wow, she came up with yet another argument.
How can we refute that? We can try to prove that she's just a human, and if she's just only human... Nervalite has the power to push back the Primordial Sea. All of these are relating to the Primordial Sea. Let's look at these one by one, just to make sure. Okay, so this doesn't have anything to do with proof a human is a human. Fontanians can be dissolved. Can an Archon be dissolved? Well, we have like Navia falling into the water and she was saved. Like, I think Nervalite is like the strongest case here. Oh dang. Well, shoot. Fontanians can be dissolved. Let's try that.
It has been established that all Fontanians can dissolve in water from the Primordial Sea. And that means...
Since you insist on claiming to be a god and not a human, then there's a method that you can use right here and now to eliminate all suspicions of you being the latter.
Miss Navia, please apply to serve as a temporary attorney for the prosecution before addressing the court. Though you act in partnership with the prosecutor, you must still adhere to proper procedure.
Super sorry, Monsieur Chief Justice. I swear this really will be the last time that I'll speak out of turn. Now, I've brought some seawater from Poisson. As everyone knows, a massive flood struck the area not long ago, taking many lives, including those of some of my closest friends. So, Miss Furina, would you dare to touch some of this seawater? If we are to believe that you are indeed the real Hydro Archon, touching the seawater would have no effect on you. All it should do is strengthen your case. But if you don't dare to touch it, then we would have basically proved the reverse. Oh, and I must remind you that after the disaster at Poisson, nobody wants to see any more people dissolve. I do hope you'll act prudently and choose the simpler path of admitting guilt.
Navia from the Spina di Rasula. The Spina has governed Poisson for many years. I guess her suggestion is valid.
Greeting audience member.
She's probably
Pondering
Fontanian like all the
audience
rest of us.
member.
Would she really dare to try?
Oh my gosh. Oh, she's just so nervous about this. She really is a human after all.
Lady Furina, this test has been unilaterally proposed by the prosecution. As it falls outside the realm of standard court proceedings, you possess the right to decline participation.
Well, I don't want you to die, Furina. You just need to...
Well, of course he had to tell her that. But refusing to participate is basically the same as a confession of guilt.
She's just staring at the water without saying a single word. It really does seem like she's quite terrified of it. That could only
We would all be better off when you tell us the truth.
Is she really planning to... That's not what we thought she would...
Due to the inherent risk of the test, Lady Furina, you may...
Hey!
She actually did it! Oh no. Back out, please.
I'm fine! Look at me, everyone! My hand is still here! I haven't been dissolved! Will you believe me now? I really am your Archon! I'm nothing like a normal human who would fall apart as soon as they touch this water! Really? Was this not the most obvious thing in the world?
Miss Siegewin? If you're present, Miss Siegewin, please come forward and attend to the defendant.
Siegewin?
Don't be nervous. It'll just take a few
And she
seconds.
just magically appears.
Let me see. That should be enough.
Please announce the results of your evaluation to the court, Miss Siegewin.
As everyone doubtlessly saw, Miss Furina was displaying symptoms of hyperventilation and flushed skin. These indicate that she was experiencing the adverse effects of exposure to primordial seawater. The extent to which she was affected is the same as other humans when exposed to primordial seawater of a similar concentration.
Thank you, Miss Siegewin. Lady Furina.
Okay, so it was like a safer
dose.
dose.
Stand.
Oh wait, what did she just say? I didn't get dissolved! Shouldn't that be enough to prove my innocence?
Well, considering your tendency to run from your problems, we did originally prepare a direct sample of the seawater around Poisson. However, after extensive discussion, we exchanged it for a sample that is not concentrated enough to dissolve an actual human. After all, on the off chance that something entirely unexpected might occur,
like what happened
we don't want anyone else to
Linny's magic trick.
Yeah, so out of regard for Furina's life, you succeeded.
There we go.
It's a great
Nice.
thing that the direct sample wasn't actually.
I can't believe you.
What's going on here? Yeah, Furina can have not known the consequences of touching that water as a human. Is this more important to her to keep up her facade and save her own life?
Listen to me, everyone. Please don't give me such cold and disdainful looks. What happened just now didn't prove a single thing.
Are you sure about that?
Think about it. How can you conclusively prove that an Archon can't also be affected by the primordial seawater? Also, if I was really just a human, why would I dare to just put my hands
She's
in that kind of
panicking.
water?
She's losing it.
Please, everyone, anyone, just listen to me. I swear, I really am your Archon.
I wonder what's gonna happen to Fontaine. Like I mentioned before, the faith is in energy that powers the city.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone. The odds are just too stacked against her now.
With all the things that have been said, Paimon doesn't think...
I believe the time for arguments and presentation of evidence has come to an end.
Now, how is this gonna help us save
we will move on to the final judgment.
She just officially lost her cover. Is she gonna reveal the secrets now?
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone. She's too stacked against her now.
In my capacity as Chief Justice, I shall now render judgment on Furina's misrepresentation of herself as the Archon of Fontaine. As a human who knowingly deceived her fellow citizens, Furina is...
guilty.
Guilty.
Why did she have to...
We shall now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale to render the final verdict on the charges. According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale, Furina is...
Is it defending her?
What's wrong? What's the Oratrice's verdict?
Or is there no?
The Oratrice also displays a guilty verdict.
Isn't that correct then?
However, the exact wording of the verdict is thus. The Hydro Archon, guilty to be punished via the death sentence.
What?
The death sentence?
That's actually one of the available sentences? I've always thought that it was just a myth.
The one and only time the death sentence has been handed out at the court. And it's been given to the very person who worshipped as the god of justice. What an unexpected twist.
Furina's been sentenced to death by the Oratrice?
What on earth is happening?
This outcome is indeed quite strange. According to Fontaine's current definitions of justice, as well as its recommendations for criminal sentences, is this sentence really appropriate for the crimes that have been committed?
Yeah, even Vacher was
That's
sentenced
crazy.
to death by the Oratrice.
So,
you know,
the real Hydro
Indeed.
Archon.
Not only is Furina's sentence overly excessive, the very point of our trial today was also to prove that Furina has never been the Hydro Archon in the first place.
We need to find a real one.
Now, the Oratrice seems to have deliberately invoked the title of the Hydro Archon. What does this mean?
Oh, I think I got...
Excuse me, if I
I got a message for a world join. Fremine? Oh, what's the Fatui find out?
The trial's still going?
Fremine! Oh, you finally made it. I assume this means you've completed your mission?
Mm-hmm. Any mission Father assigns to me will always be top priority.
So Fremine brings a stone slate! The first one!
That the first prophecy slate?
There's Oceanids, and who's that person in there?
So the knave privately arranged for Fremine to try
alright.
and find the missing slate.
I looked everywhere and finally found it at the bottom of the sea. It took me a long time to get around some dangerous stretches of water.
Maybe cover yourself fully. I don't want you to get any more seawater in you.
Has the trial already concluded? Then...
It's okay.
Doesn't that mean I've come too late? Oh no. Father will be disappointed in me.
Thank you for your hard work, Mr. Fremine. Please allow me to review the record left on the slate. Traveler, I believe that you have already seen the other existing slates. I would like you to come here and confirm their contents.
Sure.
Huh? So what do you see?
This is releasing her divine power on her, turning the Oceanids into human beings.
I believe I've now made sense of the Hydro Archon's crime. It has to do with Fontaine's lost history.
Deceiving her people. The real Hydro Archon.
In truth, everything that you've encountered in Fontaine up until this point can be traced back to the contents of these stone slates. However, I'm uncertain as to how much sense they currently make to you.
Contents of slates and events of real life.
Okay, let's try to recall the contents of the...
Alright. Look, I'm pretty sure everyone, to extract key information from them. Find scenarios related to... Oh, okay. Fountain water level in the menu interface will rise. Okay, let's verify. The real events, okay.
The first stone slate describes what you just said. It seems to show
Oceanids into humans. Yeah, the Fontanians have turned into humans. I mean, no, wait, frick. The humans have turned into Oceanids. So the prophecy, would it go in reverse?
The Hydro Archon and her people worshipping it together. But the heavens still brought judgment down upon them. This must be the point when the Hydro Archon and the Fontanians were branded with their original sin. Does this mean that the original sin and the Hydro Archon sin are the same thing? The third slate shows the Hydro Archon
sinking into the sea,
surrounded by many people. That reminds Paimon, didn't we also watch that happen to someone else? Well, the first slate is the prophecy the Fontanians have been talking about. People dissolving into the sea, the Hydro Archon crying on her throne, and so on. We didn't believe that such a crazy disaster could happen at first, did we?
Just my question of when. Alright, so let's just review everything. And then people have turned into Oceanids. I think, okay, Navia have been... Hydro Archon surrounded by many people. Fell... Okay, hold on, this is gonna take me a while, give me a minute.
We know from the case of the serial disappearances of young women that Fontanians can be dissolved in primordial seawater. And this might be the reason that Fontanians can dissolve.
Oh, okay, I just skipped those parts. Now, celestial floats in the sky, the heavens still judge them. Would it be like the Ortrees? Nope. Connecting your consciousness? Was it... punished? There we go.
Perhaps what is about to take place has all happened before. The true sin of the Hydro Archon that Neuvillette mentioned, and the original sin cast down on the people of Fontaine by Celestia, as recorded on the stone slates.
Okay, we got it. Hydro Archon sinking into the sea. That kind of looks like what happened with Navia.
It's not as simple as falling into the sea. When Navia fell into the sea, her consciousness was subjected to judgment. The stone slates show the people gathered around the Hydro Archon in the sea. Could that be alluding to the same thing?
And now... Fontaines will eventually be dissolved and the Hydro Archon will sit on her throne and weep. I'm not sure about Childe's conviction. Let me see. Well, that's related to fates, but what if we can change it? Nope. Oh, frick, I thought I was being smart here. What about this way?
Prophecy from the stone slates found its way into society, but not many people believed it at first. The fortress of Meropide was nearly flooded with primordial seawater, which we know can cause Fontanians to dissolve. It seems increasingly likely that the prophecy may come true. If we hadn't dealt with it in time, things could have gone very badly.
They'll dissolve into the primordial sea, but won't cease to exist. Their essence will flow in the seawater, converge, and take the form of an Oceanid.
I was wondering about my pronunciation of that.
The Hydro Archon was sentenced to death in court, shocking everyone present. Perhaps this means that her sin was actually Fontaine's original sin. Navia fell into the water inside those ruins, and she nearly dissolved. She was surrounded by the people of Poisson in a court within her consciousness, and was forced to take part in a trial meant to make her stay. The eruption of the primordial sea at the fortress of Meripede was the surest sign that the prophecy was about to come to pass no matter what. The stone slate's contents can all be verified by recent events. If we combine what we know together, loads of truths should come to light.
Oh, that's how we get sense of it. Shocking revelations. Fontanians are not real humans. They came from Oceanids.
Linny, did you hear that?
We're not real humans.
All Fontanians were originally created by the late previous Hydro Archon, with Oceanids as their basis. The evidence for that
okay, how can we
okay. Fontanians could dissolve in primordial seawater, and how all the girls Vacher dissolved were also turned into Oceanids. Oh, and according to Navia, when she was about to get dissolved, she also saw everyone gathered around for a trial, all of them in the shape of Oceanids.
Indeed.
Oh wait, how do we know about Navia's vision? Did she tell us? I probably missed that. The crime was her creation of Fontanians from Oceanids.
Yeah, and it follows from the content of the first slate.
Yeah, she peeped up Celestia
by creating humans without prior permission. That could also explain why the Oratrice judged the Hydro Archon to be guilty. It's to account for that.
Then what did Childe do?
The Hydro Archon's true
Could it be like Celestia's command?
Was creating us?
And yet, after many hundreds of years, the Hydro Archon's creations have turned around to try to judge the Archon within the Opera Epiclese.
It should come after the third slate.
The twists of history are often the most unexpected of all.
Yeah! Isn't the image here just... So wouldn't it be trying to show the image of the Hydro Archon also falling into the sea once the prophecy has been fulfilled in the fourth slate?
Depicts the fulfillment of the prophecy as if it's already widely known.
In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away. Did Paimon get all that right?
You've made some keen deductions. I must say, given how much you still don't know, it is impressive that you've already managed to connect so many pieces of the truth. However, while you were able to decode all the information on the slates, they've also been etched with an additional layer of hidden information using a different power source. When we were at the ruins, I tried to decipher the hidden information recorded in the slates. But since we only had 3 slates at the time, I was unable to come to a full conclusion.
Spit it out!
Now that the slate collection is complete, I shall make another attempt to decipher the narrative recorded within. If everything goes well, we should finally be informed of the unadulterated truth.
Could it have something to do with the abyss then? Something about the whale.
Well?
I believe I should share this truth not only with you, but with all the people of Fontaine as well. I will try to briefly summarize it for you. Your hypotheses regarding the origin of Fontanians and the sin of the Hydro Archon were both correct. In the Fontaine of old, the previous Hydro Archon sensed the yearning of her Oceanid familiars for life on land. The Oceanids were enamored with the beauty and romanticism of human beings, and wishing to have those experiences for themselves, expressed to the Hydro Archon their desire to become of a similar kind. However, even though water as an element is intricately linked with the power of life, the Hydro Archon, as one of the 7, did not possess the authority to create a new form of human life. Not one to give in, She eventually found a way to create permanent humanoid bodies for her familiars by appropriating the power of this planet's primordial sea. She poured primordial seawater into the Oceanids' blood vessels, creating humanoid mimics in the process. But if Fontanians were to ever come into direct contact with water from the primordial sea, the power within their bodies would escape these artificial restraints and return to the sea. As a result, their forms would collapse, and they would be reverted to their original forms as Oceanids. Of course, the Hydro Archon never received permission from the heavenly principles to create a new human race. And thus, the Hydro Archon and all of her creations came to shoulder the original sin of appropriating the power of the primordial sea. That is the true history of how the people of Fontaine first came into being.
So we were all Oceanids before we turned into human beings?
That's way too much information for me. I think I'm just going to pretend that I never heard a single thing.
Everyone's having an existential crisis here.
That's the truth. We can't let the Hydro Archon be sentenced to death. After all, her only sin was creating us.
This really might be too much
Oh my goodness.
Alas, your hypothesis regarding the third and fourth stone slates was inaccurate. The slates' respective positions
what does the third
are,
slate
in fact,
represent?
correct. A key point of the visual on the third slate is how all the individuals depicted in the water are humans rather than Oceanids. They have not been dissolved, which implies that the water depicted in this slate is not water from the primordial sea. The nation of Fontaine is the nation of Hydro, as well as the nation of trials and justice. Instead of being the literal element, the water in the scene symbolizes judgment and justice. You may also recall Navia's experience. When she fell into the sea, her consciousness was surrounded by that of many others who intended to hold a trial to determine
humans
her fate.
judging them.
Therefore, the meaning of the third slate is that the people of Fontaine shall try the Hydro Archon
And
at
then,
the Court of Justice.
next is everyone being destroyed.
Yes, it refers to our present situation.
How can we prevent the
now.
last one?
What you're saying is, even though we decided to put on this trial to avoid fulfilling the prophecy, in truth, everything we've done has happened exactly as the prophecy foretold. So now, it seems, we're the ones making sure it comes true.
What should we do?
There's gotta be some sort of other
No
secret.
matter what, the prophecy will be fulfilled. Is this what it feels like to be a prisoner of fate?
If that's the case...
Traveler, I would like to point out another small fallacy in your deductions. About the fourth slate. You probably thought that the eruption of primordial seawater beneath the fortress of Meripede served as the surest sign that the prophecy was about to come to pass, yes? However, I believe that rather than being a sure sign, that eruption could in fact only be a small warning of something far worse to come. As for the root cause of the catastrophe, I believe you've already encountered it once
whale,
before.
right? The true source.
This
So why was
eruption
Childe
just a small warning of the things to come.
Why was Childe declared guilty? A massive whale. You know, when a whale just breaches, and then, okay, whales are massive, right? I saw some videos of an orca launching a seal into an air and have it fall at a height that would kill it into the water. Whales are crazy, like, they are top tiers animals.
It was both dream and reality.
The whale, massive whale, it's gonna consume us all with a massive splash.
Only be that thing inside the primordial sea, right?
The truth, the original sin, the trial, and the root cause of the disaster.
Oh, it's happening already! Whoa! Okay, I fought this thing before, several times in fact. I turned the music off every time I did it because I want to experience this thing on my own. That thing can fit inside the court! This is gonna save them all! See that? No!
That was way too close.
Thankfully, I have not been spoiled on that.
Wait.
Yes, obviously.
So we've met it at last. I understand very well why it is chosen to make an appearance here. That whale does not belong to Teyvat. It is a monster that has traversed the stars, weeping all the while. It has been greedily consuming the energy from the planet's primordial sea.
That kind of reminds me of a certain thing from Honkai.
That is the main cause for the rising sea levels. And once it has finished consuming all of the energy contained within the sea, its next step will be...
You said that when the Hydro Archon first created Fontanians out of Oceanids, she filled their blood vessels with primordial seawater.
Precisely. That whale finds the blood of Fontanians nigh impossible to resist. Therefore, when it left the primordial sea, it decided to make its next stop a packed opera house full of food. Food in the form of Fontanians.
We just barely managed to push it back, right?
We're gonna have to deal with it ourselves, with a non-Fontanian that's not that tasty.
Once it's managed to recover its strength?
That is correct. Indeed, it is more accurate to say that we should thank that Harbinger for buying us some time. Without him, the whale would have likely come onto land far sooner. From the way he looked, he must have been fighting the creature for quite a long time.
That battle maniac. We've always known that he
oh my goodness.
Anyway. Now we know that this whale is the actual cause of the disaster.
It is too late.
What do you mean?
It had already absorbed too much of the primordial sea's energy before we could notice it. At this point, it has become practically
okay, you know what I said about Honkai? I'm trying to recollect my memories of, the Fuhua thing.
The entirety of Teyvat were
and
to be
also,
destroyed,
let's look in text with the other parts. The previous thing of Honkai part 1.5.
That's not something I will accept.
With Seela and stuff.
We've already done everything we can, and we even found the true culprit. We've come so far. You can't just tell me that the last hurdle is some impossible foe. That's just not fair.
Indeed. That's not how a grand performance should end.
I'll fight it to the end. No matter what.
So the prophecy will be fulfilled no matter what, huh?
But look what remember what N told us?
The prophecy.
Yep.
Yes. What has been prophesied will be fulfilled. You may view such things as the history of the future.
You can't fight against fate, but if it's all about it.
Just as prophecies are usually only the future as seen from the perspectives of the
something
gods.
Where the god's gaze does not fall.
Could
The
things
abyss?
be happening in hidden corners where the god's gaze does not fall?
Or like something outside of Teyvat, because that the whale is an
Ultimately,
alien.
Fate shall serve as your only guide,
Or kind
no
of.
matter what will happen in Teyvat's future. All you need to do is to play your part.
Even if the prophecy, oh my god, I should put a flash warning. There will still be a way to save everyone if we look between the lines. Between the lines. Furina! So, What did Furina want to tell us? What's her real secret? She needs to tell us. And now something's happening to the Oratrice.
What's happening with the Oratrice?
I believe it is preparing to carry out the death sentence.
Furina! Get up!
Furina! No, I still need answers.
She needs to wake up. It's that scene. Unfortunately, I've been spoiled on this too. I'm not gonna tell you. I'm gonna make you hold out. And she's just chilling there.
You.
Focalor.
Sorry. That shocked expression on your face is just too amusing. I couldn't help myself.
You are not Furina. Who are you?
Ah, the sweet sound of bewilderment. Marvelous. A sure sign that my attempt to deceive everyone was a resounding success. But to answer your question, I am Focalor. You know, the god.
Focalor? Why did you deceive us?
Oh, that wasn't my goal, of course. Goodness, no. But I had to fool everyone else too, if I was to stand any chance of deceiving the heavenly principles.
Deceiving the heavenly principles?
It's all because of that pernicious prophecy. Dreadful, wasn't it? Everyone doomed to dissolve. Fontaine condemned to be flooded. One was not amused. In fact, one was positively bemused when that problem was thrust upon me by my dearest predecessor. That's the former Hydro Archon Egeria for the uninitiated. It hardly gets more disastrous than a preordained national catastrophe, now does it? She knew full well that the prophecy would surely come to pass. And as one of the seven, she also knew full well that one defies the heavenly principles at one's peril. So yes, as you have no doubt surmised, it was a rather impossible situation that I found myself in. I spent a terribly long time mulling it over, alone on the ocean floor. And I was almost growing barnacles by the time I finally realized there was only one possible solution to this confounding conundrum. I had to outwit the heavenly principles, allow the prophecy to be fulfilled, ostensibly at least, while saving everyone at the same time. I'm a genius, I know. I can only assume that's why Egeria chose me as her successor. Although, looking back now, it was hardly the inheritance one dreams of. Between the task of saving the nation, the quotidian duties of the Hydro Archon, and not to mention the original sin of creating a new race of humans, I dare say she left me quite a colossal mess to clean up. But one can only play the hand one is dealt. I did not choose this, any more than I chose to be one of her Oceanid familiars.
So you were also once one of the Oceanids, transformed into a human by Egeria's hand?
Yes, I was. I always dreamed of becoming human. And I still do, even now. In my eyes, to be human is to be part of the greatest opera ever known. After becoming a god, I separated my divinity from my body and spirit, leaving behind only a self that was as naive and bewildered as my past self on her first day as a human being. The me you see before you now is that divinity. And the human counterpart I left behind, I named Furina. She could feel joy, sorrow, and everything in between. She could be as vain and conceited, or as meek and vulnerable as she wished. Her strengths were of a kind only a human could possess, as were her shortcomings. But in my eyes, Furina's humanity was what made her perfect. She was perfectly human in every way. The person I always wanted to be. Anyway, so then I cursed her. All part of the plan, of course. The plan to deceive the heavenly principles. Do you still remember the final scene of the prophecy? The Hydra Archon alone, weeping on her throne.
Well,
In
she
order
was
that
weeping on the
prophecy
throne.
might appear fulfilled, I invited Furina to be an actress, to play the part of the Hydro Archon in the prophecy. Under the curse I placed on her, so long as I, Focalor's divinity, continued to exist, she could not die. But nor was she free to live her life in the pursuit of happiness. Instead, she was forced to take the stage in the opera house, to embrace the role of leading lady, to forever play the part of the god from the prophecy, all to create a deceitful appearance of that prophecy coming to pass. I suppose now you probably understand why your court is called the Opera Epiclese.
But Furina is only human, isn't she? Even though she has had a long life, her mind is no stronger than that of any other ordinary human being. I cannot begin to fathom what she has had to endure. It must have been torture for her.
It has indeed. And although she is, in a sense, me in human form, I most definitely owe her an apology for it. It's been 500 years, and all along, she's been playing her part in the most unimaginably
And now we
long,
must free her.
Unbearably lonely, and agonizingly painful opera of all time.
Furina's tears, strongest emotions, and we saw, I don't know, did we see Focalor? This is her inner world, huh? This probably isn't Furina, it's her inner self. If it kind of, okay, so we can get some secrets out of her. Let's talk. But you know what? Let me just take time. 54 minutes. Well, in the recording anyway, I probably might edit stuff out, but there's probably like a lot more stuff for us to do. We should pay, so let's go, or I'm not sure. You know what? Let's have this go on a little longer. This is a really special occasion right now.
Oh? Who permitted you to come onto this stage? Now, I understand your admiration for my august self.
So,
but
is that really you, Furina?
I must ask you to keep to the rules. All right. It is not my
Don't look at me, don't look at me.
reprimand you. There is no need
Is that...
to state your name. Just
this is her inner
Do
thoughts.
not distract
There is
me
no
from my
audience
performance.
except for me. Or at least am I another actor?
Oh, do not jest.
Look.
Can you not feel it?
I can sense what you're really
Focalor.
thinking.
The eyes of countless Fontanians are upon me. I must at all
Everyone
times
is escaped.
display the utmost elegance
Everything you
and
speak
nobility.
is, well, not everything you speak, but you're just lying again. She's just playing the role of the Hydra Archon. What must have resolved even her inner self and subconscious must have an impenetrable defense. I have to find a way. Turn off the spotlights. Well, let's give her what she wants.
Audience.
Oh my goodness! War guards!
Experiencing a technical difficulty.
Okay, let's turn this off, right? Nope, 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 nope. We can't.
Shall resolve it soon.
Ow! Oh!
That's gonna hurt. Lights out.
All right, shackles. Cry without echo. I'm gonna take a look at these names. They're kind of named pretty cool things.
What gives? The
Chain,
audience
a
is still
silence without
watching
end.
me, you know. Guards? Wait, where are the guards?
Well, they're just robots right now. I'm still using physical razor, even though physical looks like completely irrelevant now. Come on, let's take this guy out. Watch her performance. They must have symbolized the eyes of the people. Now people are no longer watching you as much. You can be yourself now. A ticket? What's that? When did I end up here? Is that for me? The seat for me? Because I'm her only audience. And since I'm not really a Fontanian, she can just tell me. How do you truly feel? Scene 1, before a mirror, Furina. Alright, so let's look in the mirror. Is she gonna talk to herself? Is she gonna talk with Focalor?
Furina. Furina.
Yep, that's Focalor.
Who's that? Who's calling me? Where are you? Be not nervous. Be not afraid. I am before you. Wait a moment. You're mirror me? How can this be? Mirror you, huh? You know what? That's not bad. Let's go with that. Mirror me. What do you wish to say? The prophecy. Have you heard of it? What prophecy? Wait. I know. I think. I don't know why, but it's in my head somehow. The people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain, weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away. Oh, very good. You know it well. What's going on? I can't seem to remember anything clearly. The only thing I know for sure is this prophecy.
Is this how Furina was born? Her first moments?
Yes, it will. And that is why I've come to you. Disaster will come to Fontaine sooner or later. Things will develop just as the prophecy declared. There is no escaping it. But doesn't that mean everyone will die? I'm a Fontanian just like them. Will I dissolve too? Oh, don't worry. Magical meetings exist in this world precisely to give people a chance to turn things around. It is the reason why you met me today. I will tell you how to save everyone, but you may have to suffer somewhat. Oh, so there's still hope after all. Goodness, you frightened me. You spoke so much and with so much certainty. As for the suffering, well, I will admit that the first thing that came to mind was, why do I have to be the one to suffer? But if the prophecy will come true, I'll also
Someone will
die
have
anyway,
to
right?
step up and
So
save everyone.
if I've already met you as my magical meeting in this world, if there were scales, with all the people of Fontaine on one side, and my pain on the other. Is it not obvious where the scales should tilt?
You truly are the perfect human. My ideal. I suppose this would also be the justice that belongs to you.
Huh?
Don't worry, it's nothing. Listen well.
Being a hero,
Fontaine
believing what's
has
right.
just lost its Hydro Archon. I need you to play a role. That of the new Archon.
Play as a god?
That's right. You must begin a never-ending masquerade. You must never let anyone suspect your identity. If you can keep it up, then I shall have my way of defying this prophecy. But should your identity be revealed, then all hope will be lost.
But how will I do this? A human assuming the role of a god without being exposed.
Don't worry. What you must do is not to turn yourself into a real god. You simply need to play the role of a god as humans imagine them to be. Being a human yourself, I'm sure you already know what such an entity would be like. Remember, your true challenge will not be pursuing divinity, but contending against humanity.
I'm still not sure I understand, but I'll try. I'll try to do this. So, how long am I going to have to play this role?
To accomplish this mission, you will have to stay on the stage for many, many years. You will endure and not grow old until your task ends. But I promise you, all will eventually end in a magnificent and dramatic trial, and everyone will be saved.
Sorry about that, guys. It was just interrupted for a bit, but we can go on for a little bit longer. Scene 2, a session speech Furina. Okay, you know what? I think I'm gonna have to stop here because, jeez. This has gone on for quite a bit. I just hope my computer can handle it. So, this thing will continue in the next part. I think this is gonna become like a 4-parter now. We still need to fight that whale. We need to beat that thing up. But, so yeah, we're gonna see the fate of Focalors in the next episode to see how that death sentence is gonna play out. This is just going on for... No. But I meant to say that these turn of events have been pretty crazy. So hopefully we can have that wrapped up in the next episode. So we'll see you all there. Bye-bye!